the guys have really bought into the team aspect.
Not the same old Bowie. Not the same old Bowie. Now I'll watch. Make myself clear? Yes, sir. I don't think so. Make myself clear? Yes, sir.
And with that, welcome to the PG13 after show, where we talk about everything that is right, everything that is good about Prince George's County Public Schools. And we welcome in our first visitors of the year, the Bowie Bulldogs. What's up, Bowie?
What's going on?
Hey! No, welcome. And we also appreciate Vox Media as well, giving us the use of their studio. They do a great job here. But PG13, for people who don't know, is our weekly web series about the scholar athlete in Prince George's County Public Schools. And we do a web series that we really showcase the goodness of the scholar athlete. I know you guys know this. Coach, I know you know this. We do it in a unique way where we really tell stories about these young people on and off the field. So we really enjoy it. We've been doing it for 3 years now. You can check out all the episodes on Prince George's County Public Schools digital platforms. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But first, let's introduce everybody. I'm Dave Owens. I'll be your host. Augustus Parrish, head coach of the Bowie Bulldogs. Coach, man, I appreciate you bringing the crew in, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I know that you're getting things started over there at Bowie, but it is a pleasure to have you here. Right off to my left, quarterback Rodney Manning Jr. What's up, Rod?
What's going on? How you feeling?
Why you down there so low? You about 10 inches taller than me, but today you're down low.
Yeah, I guess.
No, pleasure to have you there. Devin Parrish, defensive back, wide receiver, all the way over to the far side there. Pleasure to have you there, man.
Thank you for having me.
Always good to see you. And Jordan Swan, wide receiver. How's it going, Jay?
Oh, great.
It's always good to see you, man. And these guys really are going to talk about this episode. We can't wait to jump into it here in just a second. But there's one other member of our cast. She's sitting off to the side, and it's Sharice Hoffman. Hey, Sharice, say hello to everybody, Sharice.
Hi, everybody.
Sharice is in the chair off the stage, but she's really a part of the interactivity of this show. And what we want you to do at home, if you're watching us on YouTube, is let us know where you're watching the show. Tell us what you think about the show. Ask questions of these young people here. They are ready and raring to answer questions from all of our viewers out there. We hope that you do that. Are you guys ready for that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to get stumped, are you?
No, sir. Come on now.
Okay, these guys are confident. We shall see. But no, certainly give us your questions. Certainly let us know where you're watching the show. Tell us what you like about PG13. Tell us what else you want to see. We'll see a different school here just about every week. But again, Bowie Bulldogs appreciate you coming in today. Coach, I want to start out with you. First of all, congratulations, man, on getting the win, your first win of the season.
First win of the season. First win of many.
Yeah, right.
So now we can get this thing rolling.
Take us through, you guys beat High Point
Yes, sir.
over the weekend, and how good did that feel?
I mean, it felt good. It was good for us as a unit to, finally get that first one, because we've been putting in a lot of work, a lot of hard work. But at the same time, we know that it's not the end of the season. So we know we got a lot more work to do and a lot more wins to get.
Yeah, Jordan, you look up on the scoreboard on Friday, and you see you guys on the winning side after I know you put in a lot of work this season. How does that feel for you guys to get that first victory?
It felt great because it felt like we earned it. Like we've been working since December. So it was like about time. We just kept thinking that. Like,
What do you guys
about
think?
time.
Same. I feel like all the work is starting to pay off, and we can only get better.
Devin?
I mean, the potential that we had, it finally showed out yesterday on the field, and it felt good to see everything that we did and put together. You know what I'm saying?
Well, Coach, I know you've been doing a lot of work to improve the culture, change the culture. I mean, that's something you said when you got to Bowie. And again, not that things were bad, but I know you wanted to establish some culture. Give us a sense of what you were trying to do, and do you think you're being successful in that venture?
Really what I was trying to do was just bring a mentality of what I played with, which is one of hard work, one of perseverance, and just knowing that, if you put that work in, when you go into that game, you're not worried about your opponent.
Right.
Because I've done everything that I've needed to do in order for me to be successful. And that's really what I say when I'm talking about changing the culture. And I think, you know, like the guys said themselves, we're turning that corner. You're starting to see it pay off. And like I said, we just got to keep going.
Jordan, you've been in the program for a while. Sort of give me your sense of Bowie culture and how it's changing. And if you could describe it, what are some of the things that people from the outside can see that would tell them, hey, the culture's changing here?
Well, so when I first came, it felt like we were a group of individuals. And that's the thing I didn't like about Bowie.
Okay.
But when Coach came, you started to slowly see that we are becoming a brotherhood. We are becoming like almost like a fraternity, but our own type. And it's just like, it's good to see that we have chemistry. Now, if only we could bring the chemistry out to the field, which we saw yesterday.
Sure.
It just felt great. Like,
baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps. You get there when you get there. Now, we caught up with the Bowie Bulldogs. You'll get there, Coach. You'll get there. You'll get there. We caught up with the Bowie Bulldogs a couple of weeks ago and doing some great filming with them. And Coach and some of his players were talking about Bowie culture. We're going to show you that clip here in just a second. My man Ron on the wheels of steel. Go ahead and cue this thing up. I'm going to hit you right about now.
Just looking at the film, there's a lot of things, little things that we fell on Saturday. Prior to me getting here, you know, I kind of seen that it was a lot of individuality. It wasn't a team thing. In order for, you know, a program to be successful, you have to have guys to buy into that team aspect. And this offseason, they really did.
You don't want a team that doesn't trust each other, doesn't push one another to do better things. You want a team that together and want to get better together. That's what he's embedded into us, and that's what we have.
You heard your player, Nikhil Boykin, talk about that there. And what's it mean to you to hear your players really taking hold of this, you know, of the things that you want to do from a culture standpoint? It's got to make you feel good.
Oh, yeah, it definitely does. It lets me know that, you know, we're on the right path. It lets me know that the message is being heard and it's not going on, you know, dead ears. So, and with him, you know, a guy who, when I first got here, he was probably one of the guys who gave us probably some of the most resistance.
Yeah.
And not in a negative way, but just in not really knowing or not really knowing what to expect from, you know, the new coaching staff. But
Sure.
he was one of the guys who, you know, once he bought in, you've seen it. You've seen it in his play. You've seen it in his attitude, you know, in the building. So, you know, it was great, you know, great for me to hear that and a great feeling.
Rodney, I want to ask you this question, and Devin, chime in on this too. How tough is it when you get a new coach, you know, he brings in that you know, his feeling of culture, which is often a change from the predecessor, and how difficult is that for players, and what have you liked about what Coach Parrish is trying to do?
Well, I mean, Coach Parrish, he's my first high school coach, so he's kind of the only, you know, teacher that I had.
Sure.
So, I mean, but I can see it in the attitudes of the seniors and juniors or people that had previous coaches before him. Like, they just maneuver differently. Like, in the building, they wear the IDs, make sure everyone else has their IDs, and, you know, like, little stuff like that.
What about you?
For me, I transferred here in 10th grade, so I didn't really start here in 9th grade. So when I came here, I first met Coach Parrish and Coach Jackson. So, you know, they taught me how to be a leader. They taught me how to, like, control my team, be accountable for everybody else. And I didn't really have that in 9th grade. I was more of a quiet player, quiet person. I just went about my own. But here in Bowie,
Quieter than you are now?
I mean,
I'm just messing with you.
well, I have to, like, step up more, talk more, you know, lead my team. So Coach Parrish helped me with that.
Rodney talked about something that I know is near and dear to your heart, because your background, I mean, you're a big guy, so it's no surprise to a lot of people you've spent some time in the NFL, but you also understand that there's life beyond this game. And the academic part, when you and I were talking, we went to that very quick. And I know that that's something that you impart upon these young men, that you got to hit the books too. I mean, this isn't just about everything that happens within the white lines. You've got to hit the books, because that's the big picture.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I tell these guys all the time, you know, what we do on the field will, you know, catch these coaches' eyes, but what we do in the classroom will get you into those doors. And I was a guy who I just qualified, right? I qualified off of a 2.5 and an 820.
Okay.
That ain't happening now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
You got to get that up, man.
It always increases. You
Sure.
know, expectations always increase. So, you know, every school is different, but we try to let these guys know if you put yourself, you know, in position academically, regardless of what we do athletically, you'll still have an opportunity to get to the next level, because that's what it's all about, you know, getting these guys to the next level. And
Jordan, do you feel that message being given to you through your coaches, not just Coach Parrish, but through all of the coaches? You guys feel that, and is that something that you guys live by?
Yes, sir. I mean, Coach has taught us a whole lot. Like, besides football, he's taught us to be men. Like, he's taught us several things, like the way that you portray yourself.
Sure.
Portray yourself outside of school is the way that people actually look at you. Like,
that's deep. That's deep. Say that one more time.
The way you portray yourself outside of school is the way people actually look at you. Like, the image.
Outside of the uniform.
Yes. And a lot of people see that. Our teachers see that. Administrators see that. Security even sees that.
Right.
It's a lot that they've done for us, and I don't think people acknowledge that. And I'm just grateful for that.
Well, one guy at this table who, and all of you are solid from an academic standpoint, one of the gentlemen that we featured during the PG13 episode series was this young man right next to me, Rodney Manning Jr. does an outstanding job in the classroom, leading and setting an example, I know, for a lot of your players, and we talked about that. Let's see how we caught up with the Bowie Bulldogs and how they focus on academics, featuring this guy right here with the mic. Ron, I'm going to cue you up here. We're ready to go in 3, 2, 1. Here we go.
Doesn't matter. Hey, ace is ace is ace.
Just how smart he is, you know, how he pays attention to detail and how he truly understands that, you know, him being that leader.
Yeah, last year was a learning experience. I learned a lot of things about the game. I learned a lot of things about, like, how to handle myself under certain situations. Like, if you have a bad game, you can't be all down in the dumps. But then if you have a good game, you can't be rah-rah and everything. You got to say even kill.
4.0 kid, probably taking honor classes his sophomore year.
It's annoying. It annoys me when I get B's because I know I can get A's. But my mom keeps me grounded on stuff like that.
He's a leader. He's a young leader, and I like that about him. He really holds himself high. He hates to settle for a B. That's the kind of personality you want as a quarterback, as a leader of a football team.
Doesn't want to settle for a B. That's saying something.
It is.
Doesn't want to settle for a B. I mean, we focus a lot on, and we see a lot from an academic or from an athletic standpoint, touchdowns and passes and rah-rah this. Let's rah-rah that. I mean, when a young man says, hey, I don't want to settle for a B, where does that come from? I got a feeling Mama and Daddy have something to say about that.
Yeah, definitely my parents. But also, like, prior, like, my family members that have been successful athletically, they told me that colleges look at everyone. They don't look at just you, whatever you do on the field, but, like, what you do in the class. Because maybe a college is deciding between two players, but maybe one player has a 4.0 and another player has a 2.0. So they, of course, they'll pick the one with the 4.0. So
yeah,
it's just about putting yourself in the best situation to be successful.
Devin, when you hear your quarterback talking like that, because the quarterback's the leader, whether he wants to be the leader or not, the quarterback's got to be the leader on and off the field. When you hear your quarterback sort of talk like that, how does that make you feel, knowing that you got a guy who's got his head on straight on the field and off the field?
It makes me comfortable. You know, I can rely on him anytime when I need him. You know, even if I need help with school, I can probably go to him because he most likely knows the answer of how to help me. So, you know, even on the field, he's smart. He makes good decisions. You know, I rely on him. He either give me the ball or get some of my teammates the ball, like Jordan. He does that multiple times. He's good on the field in practice, and even in study hall, he's doing his work. He makes sure everybody else does his work, and yeah.
One of the things that I found, you know, just interesting during your study hall is when the young men came in there, they were down to business.
Right.
I mean, and that's not, you know, you don't mess around when you walk in there and it's time for study hall. I mean, it's not playtime.
I mean, it can't be. I I mean, because like I said, we got to put ourselves in position, whether it's academically, athletically. You know, I want to make sure these guys are prepared. That's why I'm here. I wouldn't be in this position. So I got to make sure we do everything on the whole realm, not just the football side, but the academic side, but more so on the academic side.
Yeah, and you know, is it tough for a coach when you come in, because you know the game, obviously. You played, you know, some pro football. You know the game. But there's a lot of other stuff you have to do with these young people, getting them ready for college. Is that fair to say the most difficult transition for a young coach?
I would say a young coach that's not prepared.
Okay, all right.
I mean, but one thing, when you come in with a vision and you kind of walk those steps before.
Yeah.
So you kind of have an idea of, you know, the road that they're traveling, so you can kind of guide them.
Sure.
Like, do I know everything? No. So I'll lean on, you know, guidance counselors. I'll lean on, you know, administrators, teachers, you know, but at the end of the day, I really feel like I have a vision, you know, to truly help these guys. And
Sure.
I feel like we're on that path, you know, so we just got to keep chipping away.
And they're doing a pretty good job, a really good job of it at Bowie High School, no doubt about that. Well, I've been asking you guys all a lot of questions. We want you out there to chime in. We're on YouTube right now. We want to hear your questions. And hey, let's get some questions for these guys out there. Sharice, are we hearing anything, or is it all cricket still on social media? Okay, so we'll get them out there. We'll get questions, and I have a few more questions coming down the stretch of this show, but we really want you to chime in and talk to these young people. Ask them anything about Bowie football, about Prince George's County Public Schools, what they think about the season. Get involved and get interactive on YouTube. So we really appreciate you for doing that. I found one of the most interesting things about our story at Bowie was the character coach. The character coach. When you first heard about the character coach, what did you think, Jordan?
Well, at first, I thought of it as like a person just coming on to our team, trying to hop on the team like bandwagon type.
Yeah.
But when you really get to know like Coach or Pastor Dion, he's actually a great guy. Like, he's taught us things spiritually, like with my religion. I've had questions with him that not too many people could answer. Like, I've actually had personal moments with Pastor Dion. That's one thing that I like to acknowledge. Like, not too many people, not too many teams, not too many people are given a character coach.
Sure.
Or a person who is able to assist them on many levels.
And Coach, you guys do a lot with him in the community, connecting with the community. And I know that's an important part for you. Why is it so important for you to have these young people connected to not just the Bowie community, but the Prince George's County Public, any community? Why is it important for you to do that?
I think I kind of touched upon it in the piece. Because we want people to see these guys for not just football players, but just as young men. And if we're trying to, you know, better these young men and, you know, have them be, you know, pieces to society, successful pieces to society, why not, you know, put people in place that can help them? Because my whole thing when it came about was how can we ingratiate him, and how can I ingratiate myself with what he's doing, and how can we mesh that together?
Sure.
And at the end of the day, it was somebody who, he went to Bowie High School, right? He played the game of football. So, and with him and I just sitting down and talking, you know, I was able to really gain an understanding of him and, you know, his travel through the game and how it touched him. And it kind of led him to, you know, becoming a pastor, right? And so at the end of the day, it was, how can I bring multiple men around and we still push the same message? And that's truly what the character coach is for us at Bowie High School. Well,
let's meet Pastor D. We had an opportunity to catch up with Pastor D, they call him, the character coach, and then we'll get some reactions from the rest of the group here. The character coach, I was not aware that there was a character coach on a high school football team. Ryan, we're ready for this one. Let's cue this one up. Here we go. This is Pastor D, the character coach.
So when you go to that? Tomorrow?
Our character coach, man, Pastor D is what I like to call him, just wants to see the the high school, you know, in Bowie be successful.
I'm here strictly for the character well-being of the team. And so one of the things the coach really wants is to look for opportunities to serve. It's important for the athlete to understand that it's not just about them. It's about others around them.
It really humbles you. It humbles you helping everyone else and making everyone else's day a better day.
You gotta try it. It makes it sweeter. Yeah. Let's take a vote. Who would put sugar on their spaghetti? Raise your hand. All right, what is that? What's that? I would. 5 to 1. I would. 5 to 1. I would. I'm gonna try it. Sugar wins. Sugar wins.
Everyone say integrity. Integrity. Be who you're supposed to be at all times.
Team building activities, you know, getting out in the community, getting them to understand who we are, not just as, you know, football players.
He teaches me like how to be like a young man.
Being able to bring positive men around younger men, you know, that can really help them grow. That's truly what, you know, having a character coach is.
Wow. The character coach. What are your thoughts, Rodney, when you see, and you were obviously in that piece there, I mean, helping you become a total young man, the whole person multiple sort of, would sort of articulate that a little bit?
I mean, it's just, it feels good to know that you have someone that cares about you off the field and on the field. Not just, well, how many touchdowns you scored, but like, what was your grades like? Did you do your homework? What did you get on your assignment? Like that person you can lean on whenever you need help off the field or whatever.
I think that's an interesting point too, because you know, sometimes we end up focusing on what people focus on for us. Right. And when someone is talking about something more than the athletic side, Devin, how does that make you feel, knowing that, again, there is somebody out there who is asking you questions and emphasizing things that have nothing to do with your performance on the field?
I mean, it's just positive energy about everything in life. He asks you, like Ronnie said, asks you how your grades are, and everything good at home. He prays with you. He talks about God with you, and he does all these other things. It just makes you feel good about yourself. And
not in an overbearing way either, right? Let's make that clear too. I mean, I think that's important to know. And as I spoke to him, I think he made it clear that he didn't want people to think that was something that he was doing.
No, I'm not trying to force anything on anybody. It's just something that's an outlet that's there.
Sure.
Right? So if these guys need somebody to talk to, and it's not a coach or it's not a teacher or it's not a parent, that they just want to go talk to somebody, he's there. And I think that's the great thing about it. It's nothing that's forced. It's all organic, and if it was forced, he wouldn't be there because that's not how we roll. But, you know, it's like I said, it's truly organic, and it's truly a blessing to have him there.
Well, if you have any questions about the character coach, let us know online. We've got Sharice Hoffman, who is waiting with bated breath. Hey, she's getting paid today, so let's put her to work. As we always want this to be an interactive show. But let's talk a little bit about the game that we covered that day. We talked about the Suitland game. Now, I know you guys just beat High Point, so that's the positive part. This Suitland game was interesting because the first two games for you guys had a lot of cancellations. Sort of talk about that, the difficulty of getting ready for a game and then you got to stop and get ready to play a game the next day. How tough is that when you get ready for a game and then all of a sudden, nope, you got to wait till the next day?
I mean, of course, we want to play when the game is scheduled. But
sure.
Coach, he already told us that we're going to have adversity throughout the week, throughout the summer. He said adversity will hit you. It's you're either going to stand tall or you're going to fold. And that's what we really took to heart.
I know we talked about it, Coach, before that game, and then we also talked about it after. We're going to get into that right now. I mean, this was a 48-hour process that we covered with you guys with Suitland because Mother Nature did not want you guys apparently to play a football game when it was scheduled the first couple of weeks of the season. Ron, here we go. We're going to catch up with Bowie on game day against Suitland. Here we go.
There you go. There you go.
It'll be a tough challenge. Those guys are very tough, very physical. I think they take on that blue-collar mentality as well.
Let's go, Trev!
It's always something with Suitland and Bowie, so I already know that game is going to be really live, and I know they not playing with us. They coming to win. They think we still the 1-9 team.
They have a lot of heart. They're probably one of the toughest teams. It's going to be a challenge.
You got to be my pin, right? You're going to hold this all together. Get back here to the 10. Get back here to the 10. Get your face in it. Donovan, you just doing this. This you walking on eggshells. What it means to work, knowing what it takes to be good, right? What it takes to be great. It's you guys pushing, it's you guys motivating, it's you guys challenging. Last week we had a game that was postponed as well due to lightning. And so it's just really getting them to understand that, you know, it's mental. Can I mentally come back and lock back in?
Don't nobody know how hard we work with us. Not the same old Bowie. Not the same old Bowie. Now I'll watch. Make myself clear? Yes, sir. I don't think so. Make myself clear? Yes, sir. Hey, go!
We got so much confidence, and that's how we carry ourselves now.
I love this game, baby. I love this game.
I think what you seen today was you seen the difference between an established program and the building of the program.
Say a fan. We got a fan.
We got to be the ones that set the tone in that. Let other teams set the tone for us. It definitely was a learning process. You just got to get back to the drawing board and just continue to work.
And continuing to work, which is what you've done. Continue to work. And by the way, you know, when we do these pieces, you know, we don't know who's going to win or who loses. And by the way, who cares? These young men, I think, acquit themselves very well, win or lose.
Smart. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's just a learning process. Just continuing to grow, continue to learn each other. And, you know, from that time to now, you know, you've seen the growth. You actually seen us move guys around,
sure.
Us bring guys up. You've seen young guys step up. You've seen guys' role increased. Guys going from one side of the ball to the other side of the ball. So, you know.
And what I didn't know when I was shooting it is that Devin was in that piece. You made that catch, right?
Yes, sir.
That was a pretty nice catch, man.
Appreciate
it. Hey, hands. Let's give this guy a hand for having a hand. Sort of take me through that Suitland game. Obviously, you learn lessons. That's a good football team over there. Mm-hmm. And what lessons did you learn in that game, and how have you guys gotten better since then?
Well, main lessons, you got to come out with effort and energy. Coach Perry's been preaching effort and energy all summer, all season, and we simply just didn't come out with enough effort and energy. I mean, it showed, but we learned as the season goes on, if we come out with fire, with energy, we can put on a show.
Ronnie, what about you, man? Nice throw there.
Thank you. Like what Devin said, I mean, we can't wait till the second half or second quarter to start picking things up. We got to start off up here and then end the game up here. And also with practice, we got to prepare better in practice. And that's what we learned after that game. Take every practice, study hall, school, take everything serious.
Process, they call it, right? They call it process. Jordan, any comments there?
I mean, like they said, we got to come out with the energy.
Okay.
If we came out with the energy, we would have won the game. I mean,
and stay off social media.
Except for today.
Except for today. Yes.
Speaking of which, hey, I see the bell is ringing, so I think we have a question out there in the world. Are you guys ready for this question?
Why not?
Sharice Hoffman is our social media expert who has been following social media. We got a fan question out there, Sharice. What do you got for us?
We do, Dave. We have a fan question for Coach Parrish, actually. And the question is, how do you specifically prepare the guys for the college recruitment process?
How do we specifically prepare them? Well, we have this thing. Last year, we actually had a guest speaker come in who actually talked about the process itself. But me personally, I really sit down with them, and it'll be more in detail this year because last year was my first year. But really just getting them to understand what their core GPA is because you can have your cumulative GPA, you can have your year GPA, but you really need to know what your core GPA is. And once you know that, then that'll set you up to figure out, okay, what do I need to get on my ACT and SAT? So I think that's the big thing, is just making sure that we do everything in our core classes, our Englishes, our maths, our sciences, and then, you know, we can kind of see, all right, this is what I need on my SAT or ACT.
It is so important to have a coach who's been through the process, because this after football thing is really important. Getting young people into school is a process. Definitely. I mean, and this thing, it's got a lot of layers. Having someone there who knows it has to make you guys feel good, and has to make your parents feel good that you're with someone who knows the thing. Go ahead, Rodney.
Yeah, because I was clueless before I met Coach Parrish.
And most young people are. I mean, we all are, right?
Yeah, I thought you just go in the game, throw a couple touchdowns, and then in college you start chasing you down. Right. I was disappointed.
It is if you're Cam Newton, but you know, but for the rest of us, it doesn't always happen that way. But great to have a coach here. We're almost done. Do we have any more, Sharice? Do we have any more questions out there?
I actually do have another fan question.
Hey, go.
It's kind of piggybacking off of what you were all just talking about, and it's how does your education help you once your playing days are over?
And I'll give that to really Coach, because your playing days are over. I can answer it myself, but your thoughts, Coach.
How does it prepare you? I mean, it kind of just, it prepares you because that's your future. I mean, football is not everything. Me, I was somebody who just loved the game and, you know, just couldn't live without it. So I was going to figure out some way that the game was going to be incorporated in my life. But if you're that type of person, there's many avenues. It can be in the athletic training field. It can be in the being an agent field. It can be in the coaching field. You know, it could be in the what's the other fields? Broadcasting.
Being broadcast.
There we go.
I mean, it could be anything.
All right, it could really be anything, but it really just gives you an opportunity to go to higher ed, because I went to school with guys who were at school on the athletic scholarship, and then after undergrad they ended up going to grad school, and some of them went to become doctors, and some of them went to become lawyers. So it's really just, it gives you an opportunity to you know, have a foundation.
Yeah. We appreciate those fan questions out there. I'll add one thing as someone who played. I was a bench warmer. I wasn't as good as this guy. I was a bench warmer in college. But the education helped me get to college, and it helped me continue my education at the United States Naval Academy. And I can tell you this, and I know you can piggyback on this, I think the same character traits that you take in the film room or running gassers or whatever, or attention to detail, we talked about that with your quarterback. You got to know all the strategy. You got to know what routes to run. And he said 10 yards and out, not 11. You take those attentive to detail type things to your life. I mean, whether you're a banker, whether you're a doctor, whether you're a lawyer, and we do that. We do that in our professional lives as well. Well, again, we appreciate all of those questions out there on social media. Keep them coming. We got a few more minutes to go in the show. How about some fun? We're gonna finish with some fun. How about that? I got this bell here for a reason.
We won. That's fun. That's the fun.
There you go. Well, I thought we'd have a little trivia here for you guys. I got a couple of questions. Here's the only problem. I don't have any gifts to give you yet. Crickets.
The gift is being here.
The gift is being here, right?
Yeah.
We got to get a sponsor for this show, and then we'll get you some gifts or something like that.
This is enough for me. So.
Yeah, do we have anything in studio that we can give you guys? I mean, I don't know. We have a fan over there. We got some water bottles.
We're humble guys.
There you go. There you go. Well, how good? I thought it would be fun to ask you. How good do you know your school?
I think I know it pretty good.
Do you know it pretty good?
Pretty
okay.
good.
Someone's calling in right now to see.
On the phone.
On the phone line. So I've got this trivia question for you guys. You can actually go to your phones and check this out. I will give you 1 minute. Sharice, you're going to be on the clock for me?
Yes, sir.
We're going to give you 1 minute. When was Bowie High School founded? When was Bowie High School founded? 1 minute, go. Doom, 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 doom. Well, I'll give you a hint.
1965.
1965.
See, they got a head
62
start.
in my head.
I thought it was 72.
What do you say?
17 something?
You say 1960. You say 19. What do you say?
1965.
1965. Are you sure? Are you sure now? Wikipedia could be wrong. Are you sure? Do you want to double check that? Hey, there's a lot riding on this. There's a lot riding on this thing, guy.
You might need to call Tidwell because he's been there forever.
He's been there forever?
Yeah,
okay. All right. 1965, is that right, Mr. Manning? Is that right?
The school, yeah, but I remember the fence was 1972 because that's the basketball.
Ooh, so founded. When was it founded?
Yeah.
1960?
I'll go with 65.
65? 65? 65?
I'm
Coach?
gonna say 64.
I'm going with my guys.
1965. 1965. Let's give these guys a round of applause. I got one more question for you. So your coach, and there's no phones for this one because you guys should know this. I'm giving you 30 seconds to answer this question. 10 seconds? Cherise says 10.
No, 30 seconds is fine.
30 seconds is fine. So your coach played a little NFL football, right?
That's a little bit.
What team? That's saying something, though. Not everybody can say that. What teams is he associated with?
The Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Because he was on Hard Knocks.
New Orleans
Saints and the Bengals.
Saints and Bengals.
Saints and Bengals? Saints and Bengals? Saints and Bengals?
My wave. Now that's
Saints and the Bengals. And he was on Hard Knocks. A lot of people don't realize that.
I got a distinct taste for that. I got to learn how TV really works.
This is much better.
The editing, yeah.
The editing part. Hey.
Your editing is A1.
My editing is A1. HBO, not so much.
Yeah.
But no, listen, I want to appreciate you guys for coming in here. I know it's a Sunday, and you could be doing a lot of different things. I do appreciate you coming in here, Coach, all the way from the top end of the county to come down here. I want to tell you guys and encourage you guys to keep it going. Who's your next game? What you guys got coming up? Laurel High School. Spartans. Yeah. Okay. That's over there or is it home?
It's home.
At home.
So now we got our first victory. Now we're looking to get our first home victory.
First home victory. Okay. Well, we appreciate you guys for coming in and just want to continue with your great work. Whether you win, I know as a coach you want to win them all, but listen, however many games you win, continue your great work on and off the field because that's what's really important. And hey, for you at home, you can watch all of these episodes, the PG13 episodes, on Prince George's County Public Schools digital platforms. That's Facebook, YouTube, and their website. So check them out. They come up every Monday. Flowers is next. And a cool story here. I know people love their schools, but coming up this week, there's a kid at Flowers who's a pilot. The kid flies planes. That is crazy.
In high school.
In high school. The best and the brightest are at Prince George's County Public Schools, and we always want to continue to showcase them, these young men and others at all the schools. So that's going to do it for today's inaugural show. Appreciate you guys coming in, and we will see you.
Channel.
Yeah, we will see you guys next week on the PG13 After Show. Ron, we're ready to take us out. Here's our promo. We will see you guys next week. Hey.
Go Bulldogs.